sad and it's scary to think that, again, the city is on this path of destruction, if you will.
Hundreds are pushing back against a multi-million-dollar proposal that could mean the end for 4 Omaha buildings more than 100 years old. Good evening, I'm Kevin Boughton. The historic Christian Specht building in downtown Omaha could be torn down to make way for an expanding performing arts center. It's a domino effect that started this summer when engineering firm HDR announced plans to build a high-rise building near 12th and Douglas. Today, hundreds rallied, hoping the city will hear their concerns over tearing down the buildings that are more than 100 years old. Reporter Nick Starling explains the rush now to save Omaha's roots. Nick?
Kevin, over 300 people came out in front of these buildings, these old historic buildings, hoping that their call of action will change the fate of the buildings before a final decision is made.
We learned that this might not be our home anymore.
Inside the 131-year-old Christian Specht building, Jacqueline Lovato works for an interior design firm.
It's heavy. It's kind of an emotional process. We don't own this space, but it's been our home for a long time now.
Hundreds of people at this rally Sunday want the city and Omaha Performing Arts to preserve the Specht and neighboring buildings, which could be torn down as the Holland Center expands.
We think it's important that they think creatively about how these buildings are going to be an important part of our history going forward.
To tear it down for a parking structure, for parking stalls, seems a little bit embarrassing for the city of Omaha.
Let's work on a compromise and not tear the buildings down and try to share parking and work on solutions together that, make everybody happy.
Preservation group Restoration Exchange Omaha is pleading with Arts Center leaders to not scrap more than a century of history.
And use them as a restaurant, use them as administrative offices, use them as a place for guest artists to come and stay.
In the basement of the Specht building, Karen Jarecki says losing the Specht means losing touch with the city's roots.
If you have something this remarkable, it's only proper to respect it.
Back upstairs, Lovato says she's not sure where the business will move if the buildings are torn down.
It's unsettling to think that something so beautiful might be lost forever.
Now the City Council has to approve that $10 million deal. Then it's in the OPA's hands, and they haven't had any finalized plans yet. Reporting live at 11th and Douglas, Nick Starling, KMTV Action 3 News.
Okay.